Good morning, and again, welcome to Michigan Farm and Garden. Folks, it just seems like the summer's gone so fast. Here we are in mid-September, and one of the neat things I always think about mid-September coming into fall is certainly some of the vegetables and some of the fruits that we have available. This year with the weather, you know, we've talked to Jeffy Andreessen before on the show. We are not going to have some of the bounty that we've had in the past, but we still have some really good crops and some really good opportunities. So my guest this morning, we're going to share a little bit more information. My first guest this morning is Ben Kudwa. He's with the Michigan Potato Industry Commission, and we're going to talk a little bit about the crop. Certainly potatoes are important to our state, so we'll talk about the economics, give you some information there. We're going to talk about the importance, certainly a lot of nutrition when we look at potatoes. And right now is certainly the time to get them and the time to look for Michigan. So we're going to share some more information, let you know how potatoes are used in our state, and let you know certainly how you can find them. Then I also have with me this morning Colleen Matts, and she works with a farm to school program. You know, we talk a lot about the bounty that we have in our state. How do we get that back to our young people? How do we get those foods into our institutions? So we're going to talk about the farm to school program, what it is, and I think most importantly, how if you have a school that you would like to get involved, the resources that are out there, and how you can find local and source local right from those farms. And Colleen is going to tell you what she can do and how they can help and a little bit more about the program. Then we are going to actually take you via video to a operation that uses soybeans as turkey feed. Then we're going to come back with a very, very good recipe. This is from Mary McLeod of Bellevue, and this is for chocolate zucchini cake. And if you're like me, you have zucchinis coming out your ear. So a great way to use them and a great way to get some of those vegetables in for the kids. Stay tuned. It is going to be a great show, and we will be back with our first guest right after the Michigan Farm and Garden Fact of the Week.
It's time for the Michigan Farm and Garden Fact of the Week, brought to you by the Corn Marketing Program of Michigan.
Potatoes contain many of the essential nutrients that the dietary guidelines recommend. Potatoes eaten with the skin provide nearly half of the daily value for vitamin C and are one of the best sources of potassium and fiber. One medium-sized potato has 100 calories and provides complex carbohydrates needed to fuel our brains and our bodies. For more information, go to mipotato.com.
Corn touches your life every day. With over 600 items in the store that contain corn, it's America's renewable resource. There are amazing new products made from corn, like comforters, clothes, corn stoves, dinnerware, and of course, ethanol.
Corn, America's renewable resource, powering industry, feeding America, and fueling the future.
Thanks to Michigan's corn farmers, the future is bright for innovative products made from corn. To learn more about how corn touches your life, visit our website.
And welcome back. We are back with Ben Kudwa, Executive Director of the Michigan Potato Industry Commission. Ben, welcome back. It's good to have you here.
Thanks, Jody. It's always good to be on your show.
Well, I'm going to have you start. You know, certainly we have a lot to celebrate in Michigan, and the potato industry is certainly one of those. And I think you even brought a graphic with you, too, to kind of show us what we have to celebrate and the diversity of the industry. Well,
Michigan is such a diverse state, as you know, and potatoes are one of the prime crops in the state. Potato is grown in 28 counties, by the way. That's a lot of counties to grow a specialty crop. And the map that you're seeing on your screen right now is really the Great Lakes Basin map. The green is actually just the location of how water drains into the Great Lakes. But what happens is the water not only drains into the Great Lakes from the landmass, but it also fills up pores in the soil. And when it fills up pores in the soil, that becomes groundwater. Groundwater is available for irrigation, and of course irrigation is what keeps the potato industry going. So we're a $175 million crop, and we depend on water.
Well, I think a lot of times we take water for granted here in Michigan just because we have so much, but water has been a big issue and something that's been watched and really studied.
Well, exactly. Over the years, you know, our counterparts in the West have thrived on water. That's what has made the West grow and flourish through the big water projects that they've had there that were developed after the wars. But anyway, when Michigan came on, people thought we would be a supplemental irrigation state, and Michigan is actually more of an irrigation state. This is the largest expansion now, is the largest expansion of irrigation taking place in the state, probably in the history of, irrigation in our state.
Well, and I think too, you know, when we look at the weather we're coming off of this past year, I think we learned you never know what's going to happen, and if you have that crop in the ground, you have to be prepared.
Oh, exactly. So I would imagine that the sales agents for all these irrigating companies are doing dynamite business right now, because this last year was a killer year for so many crops.
Well, and certainly when we think of this time of year, we think of potatoes. I know we have a graphic to put up with this. It is potato time of year.
It's potato time of year, of course, and this is the time when you can go onto your grocery store shelf and find Michigan potatoes, mid-September. Potatoes coming out of the east side of the state, and potatoes will production will shift to other areas soon. And of course, you can find a wide array of potatoes, all the way from russets and whites and some specialty varieties. So we're very proud of our fresh market industry, because it comes on stream so fast, and it serves so many people for so many months. By the way, we're on the market for almost 10 months a year.
Wow. Well, and I know there's a lot of infrastructure here in the state to keep those fresh potatoes fresh and to keep those in great quality. So like you said, you can get them for 10 months.
That's right. And you know, when you see so many different types of potatoes now, and you can see so many different sizes, so many different packages, this is a big expansion time for different varieties and different types and different sizes of potatoes.
Well, and I know there's a lot of diversity, a lot of deliciousness when we look at potatoes. So, you know, we'll take a look at that and kind of see what we have as far as all the different ways we can really enjoy potatoes.
Well, sure, there's so many different ways to serve potatoes. You know, the typical mashed, baked, and fried are what you normally think about. But, you know, my favorite happens to be mashed potatoes, just because no matter what time of year, that seems to fit for me. But there's just so many different recipes, and I would encourage your listeners to go to the U.S. Potato Board website, and it would be a simple website, uspb.com. That stands for U.S. Potato Board, and if it doesn't get there that way, if you just type in that to your search engine, it'll come up. And it's recipe galore for potatoes. You would think all you have to do is boil a potato and serve it, but there's many more ways to prepare potatoes.
Well, and I think that's one thing too, is we're looking at, you know, looking at our diets, looking at local. There's so many recipes out there, and a lot of really good stuff that you can use the fresh potatoes directly and plant some. I know we have some in our garden, and it's fun to see how long they'll last and what we can do with them.
Well, you bring up an important part. That growing potatoes in a garden is a fun thing to do, and I would encourage your listeners to really, those that garden, to try potatoes, because that's a fun crop to grow. You know, you don't see it until you actually pull the plant and start digging into the ground and find out what's there, and then you can determine how well those potatoes really did for you.
Well, and it's a lot of fun, and you know, viewers know I have a little one, and it's great. She has her little shovel, and she gets in there and she helps. So I like those little projects that you can get the kids involved and let them learn about agriculture and how things are grown.
Oh, exactly. And this happens to be one where it's a surprise package.
It is.
You don't know what you have until you start digging in the soil and figure it out.
It is. Well, and Ben, I want to make sure too that we get to talk a little bit about, when we look at potatoes, we have fresh, but there's also so many other processed products that our potatoes go into. Well,
the Michigan potato industry is about 70% processed, and you can just see some of the products that we produce that are it's on your screen right now, all the way from snacks to frozen products to fresh packaged products. The product in the center of your screen happens to be a fresh potato that's actually available, that you can just slip into the microwave, and all of a sudden you've got mashed potatoes for dinner. So it takes about 3 minutes. So, but it's still very easy to peel potatoes, boil them, and mash them. That's the old-fashioned way.
It is, and I think just the diversity, potatoes just really seem to go with everything.
Well, exactly. You know, a potato, we say potatoes with every meal, and as you said earlier, 110 calories, and potatoes are an excellent source of fiber, an excellent source of vitamin C, potassium. So, you know, the nutrition is there, the ease of preparation is there, and, you know, we grew up on potatoes. We're a potato-consuming country, just like our forefathers before us from Europe, potato-consuming nation, so we have that in our heritage.
Okay. Well, Ben, thank you so much. We appreciate it. I'm so glad you were here. Certainly this time of year, we want to get out there, look for those Michigan potatoes right in the store.
there you are. Roadside stands are equally important to us, so anywhere you can find them, buy Michigan.
Buy your Michigan potatoes, folks. We do have a great opportunity here in the state. As Ben told you, you can enjoy Michigan potatoes for up to 10 months. Get out there. I will put the website link on our website. You can get more recipes and do what you can for Michigan's economy and support Michigan potatoes. Stay tuned. We'll be back right after this message.
The Cherry Marketing Institute wants you to know about tart cherries. Cherry's red color comes from powerful antioxidants. Available year-round, it's easy to incorporate cherries into your daily diet. Visit choosecherries.com.
Michigan's 1,000 apple growers take pride in producing delicious apples from one generation to the next. From the Great Lakes come great flavors. Look for locally grown Michigan apples.
Have Jody speak at your next agricultural event. Go to jodylive.com.
And welcome back. We are back with Colleen Matts of MSU. Welcome to the show. It's good to have you here.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Well, I have to say, I'm going to let you give us your whole title and
Sure.
everything you work with, because it was a mouthful.
It is a bit long. I am a farm-to-institution specialist with the Michigan State University Center for Regional Food Systems, and we formerly were the Sietsema Group for Sustainable Food Systems, so some people may know us by that name. But what that means that I do is really work on connecting Michigan institutions like schools, colleges, hospitals to Michigan sources of Michigan foods.
Well, and for me, I think that's so exciting. You know, as people email and as I see people, everybody always wants to look for Michigan, find Michigan, and it seems like the one place that maybe lagged a little bit behind were some of those institutions, and especially with the schools. So for me, this is exciting to very much have a program that's there and focused. And you guys have been doing this for quite a while.
Yes, we have. We've been around in this scene for Farm to School since 2004, when we first did some research to understand what school food service directors were interested in buying if they did have an interest in local. And that essentially justified my job and made it so that we had a place to start. So I've been working for the past 5 years at the state level to try to get Farm to School going as much as we can around the state, and we have a number of regional partners and state agency partners that are helping to make that happen.
Well, and let's talk a little bit about that process, because you know, if there's a school administrator or a PTA or a group that says, boy, you know, it'd be great to look local, find local, it has to be really overwhelming to think, what do I need to do? And I think secondly, most of those folks are so taxed in their everyday. How do they go about doing that, and how do we find the local to get it in the school?
Sure, that's a complicated question, but I'll start somewhere. We have farm to school programs starting either from the food service director being interested or the school administration, but also we have some farmers that really get some farm to school programs going. So on either side, it's really just about first connecting with your local institution or with your local farmers to see if they're willing and able to work on a project together. There are a number of local resources, so we work closely with Michigan State University Extension that has a new community food systems work group, and they have some people on the ground that can help facilitate some of those connections. We hear from food service directors that it's a challenge sometimes to just find farmers in their area if they don't already know them. And then once they find them, how do they really start that conversation? So that's something that we can help with. Also in Northwest Michigan, we have the Michigan Land Use Institute that has been doing farm to school for a good number of years. And in Southeast Michigan, we have the Food System Economic Partnership. So we have a really great base of support on the ground that's helping to make those connections happen and really help build programs. So if any food service director or farmer or even a parent is interested in getting a program like this going, they can contact any of those resources locally or contact us at Michigan State University. We have a website, Michigan Farm to School website, where we have a number of local resources that can help get the program going or show you the steps to get a program going. So here we have a step-by-step guide for school food service directors to purchase Michigan products. It really walks them through the process of identifying their needs and interests and then trying to find some of those local farmers and get information out to them about this opportunity. On the flip side of that information, we have the Marketing Michigan Products Guide for farmers, which walks them through the process, but from the farm side. So talking about things like food safety, liability, connecting with the school and how a school may operate differently than some of their other customers. So we have a number of resources out there to help schools get started. And this year, we just started a Michigan Farm to School program, grant program, that can help schools plan for or implement a farm to school program with a little bit of seed money to get some of that going.
Well, and I think that's so important because I have to say, if you haven't, it would be very overwhelming to find out what's there, kind of figure out what the kids like, and you know, as I think of that, you know, what has been the response from the schools and the kids and you know, everybody involved?
We definitely have a great interest in farm to school in Michigan, and it continues to grow. So we have a number of food service directors that have been doing this already for a good number of years, 5 years in some cases, and they're kind of our shining stars that can help teach other food service directors how to make this work. We still have more schools interested in local foods than we have the foods getting to those schools, so we definitely need more farmers and even local foods distributors to help get those products to those schools. So that's some of the outreach work and education work that we're here to do.
Well, and I think that's so important too. You know, we talk about important markets for the farmers, but it is kind of scary to think of what's the delivery schedule, because that's very different than going to a farm market or a farmer's market or that kind of thing to get on that schedule to be delivering to that school.
It is. It can be a bit daunting. I know some farmers are a little scared of the rules and regulations that might go along with selling to a school food service operation, but I think in the end, some farmers find that it's a really great base market. It may not be a big money maker because we all know that school budgets are pretty tight, but it can be a good base market and a guaranteed sale, unlike a farmer's market, where you're not quite sure what you're going to sell on any given day. And it can be a high volume sale depending on the size of the school. So in that way, we hope that the benefits are really there for the farmers to participate and to keep participating over the years.
Great. Well, Colleen, thank you so much. This is so fun, so exciting. I just want to give you real quick, if there's somebody out there, a phone number, how do we get a hold of you?
Sure. Check us out at the Michigan Farm to School website. It's www.myfarmtoschool.msu.edu. You can just Google Michigan Farm to School and we'll pop right up, and you'll find my contact information there as well as that of my colleagues.
Great. Well, thank you, and keep up the good work. We'll look for more in the future.
Thank you so much.
Folks, another great opportunity, certainly if you're involved in an educational institution, you want to look at what are the opportunities to get more Michigan, let those kids experience more Michigan. Certainly once you try the array of fruits and vegetables that we have in our state, you're certainly going to find some that you want to make sure you take home, share with the rest of your family, and this is a great opportunity for those farmers and for those students. Folks, make sure you get out there, visit our website. We'll give you more information and you can get something going in your community. I will be back right after this message.
This hog is head over hoof for meal made from U.S. soybeans. Now, one hog isn't that impressive, but suppose we add another, and another, and another. Before long, you've got billions of hungry customers around the world all clamoring for the same thing. Our soybeans. Learn more about the billion-dollar appetite of animal agriculture at BeyondTheElevator.com. Brought to you by America's soybean farmers and their checkoff.
Well, you get to hear a little bit about soy and the livestock industry, certainly through the sponsorship and the support that we have of the state soybean farmers. They've also had the opportunity to go out and do some videos. So we're going to take you via video to a turkey farm, learn a little bit more about the industry, how soy fits with that, and how important soy is. We talk about it as far as health and human consumption, but it is also extremely very important to our livestock industry. So folks, join us on this video and learn a little bit more.
The business of raising turkeys is strong in Michigan, thanks in part to Sietsema Farms of Allendale. The family farms are owned and operated by Rick Sietsema, his father Harley, and other partners, raising 1.3 million birds per year.
Sietsema Farms started back with my grandfather probably about 50 years ago. He was a dairyman in the Allendale, Michigan area. Raised a family of 4 sons and 2 daughters. The family ran the dairy farm at that time. Upon his retirement, different brothers got into agriculture in different directions. My dad got interested in farming back on the original farm, family farm, but didn't want to be in the dairy business in particular. So he started a turkey farm for Bill Maher Foods back in those days. From there, we've grown our turkey production. We're now a part of the Michigan Turkey Producers Co-op in Michigan that finishes 4.5 million turkeys a year. We raise a little over 1 million turkeys ourselves. We also raise about 500,000 head of swine annually in the state of Michigan. And we've just kind of grown from that dairy farm back in the 30s and 40s and 50s to the current operation where we now have 3 generations working in our offices and on the various farms.
As one of Michigan's largest turkey producers, Sietsema has a positive impact on the state's soybean growers, for they purchase 24,000 tons of soybean meal annually from Zeeland Farm Services. 40% is fed to their birds, with the rest to their swine, in all accounting for the production of close to 170 average Michigan soybean farmers. Harold Punter is Sietsema's turkey livestock production manager and has been part of the family, so to speak, for the past 30 years.
These birds today are fed to the optimum growth, and I mean by that the feed is to match the age of the bird. So our feed has like 16 different recipes, so that's why the growth has increased tremendously. And also that we're on a pelleted feed now, and what that does, every bite they take, it has all the trace minerals, all the protein and the energy needs to put forth to growing.
The feed mixture comes from 2 mills Sietsema's operate, one in Ravenna and one in Howard City. Those 2 facilities, along with farms in 5 counties, give a big boost to the economy as Sietsema's provide over 200 full-time jobs. Rick Rose is mill manager at Sietsema's Farm Feeds in Howard City. He oversees the production of 24 different recipes of feed, depending on the animal's age.
Each recipe contains corn and soybean meal and wheat. We take those products and we grind them to a particular micron size, and we run them through our pellet mill, which takes that mash and forces it through a die with 26,000 holes in it, and it turns it into a pellet. In our pelleting process, we have a post-pelleting, what we call a fat application. It's recycled vegetable oil, and we're currently using about 50,000 pounds of recycled vegetable oil every day. And what we do is we spray that on the pellet after it's been manufactured to increase the calorie count for the animal.
Along with the creation of feed pellets at the Howard City Mill, Sietsema's made a substantial investment into a gasification system that turns turkey litter into electricity and steam to run the facility. And the ash from the burned litter is rich in minerals that can be used as a supplement in the feed. And so they've created an environmental loop, per se, just another part of their commitment to their already environmentally verified farms.
My family eats the same turkey and pork product coming out of the grocery store as my neighbors do, and I find that very important that we raise a high quality product that's safe for the consumer, and that we show that we don't try to hide anything, and we're open and honest about how we bring the product to market.
Michigan's turkeys consume 32,000 tons of soybean meal annually. That's the meal from nearly 1.4 million bushels of soybeans, a fact not lost on the United Soybean Board in its farmer-supported checkoff program.
Like soybean farmers, U.S. turkey producers work hard to provide the world with safe, affordable, and nutritious food. The Soybean Checkoff funds research, education, and promotional efforts to help support animal agriculture, including efforts that focus on improving the nutritional value of U.S. soybean meal to meet the needs of turkey producers. Soybeans serve as one of the main protein supplements for turkey feed. As a soybean farmer, I am proud I produce this beneficial feed source. Together with the checkoff, we help ensure a safe and nutritious product from our farm to your family's plate.
You can learn more about the connection between crop production and animal agriculture by logging on to animalag.org. And there's a lot more to learn about the soybean industry in Michigan by logging on to michigansoybean.org.
And welcome back. Certainly, you know, when we come to the recipe time, there's a lot of opportunities, and right now, zucchini seems to be everywhere and very, very plentiful. So here's a great recipe for chocolate zucchini cake, and this comes from Mary McLeod of Bellevue. Very, very easy and very delicious. Basically, you're gonna go ahead and cream your butter, your oil, and your sugar. Add in your vanilla, your egg, and your milk. So you pretty much have your wet ingredients mixed together. Then combine your dry ingredients. So you have your cocoa, your baking powder, your soda. Put those together, mix those together really, really well so you have those all nice and mixed. And then go ahead and add those together. Mix your dry ingredients with your wet ingredients. Then go ahead and add your zucchini. And folks, what we tend to do at our house, we take the zucchini and we put it up. So when we have it in the garden, we go ahead, bring it in, wash them up, grate it all, and put them in baggies that are 2 cups. So very, very easy as you want them for recipes throughout the year. You'll have zucchini. It freezes great. If it is frozen, let it thaw and squeeze out some of the extra water. So that's really the only tip that you have to worry about, but very easy to freeze and very easy to use. If you would like a copy of this recipe, you can send a self-addressed stamped envelope to Michigan Farm and Garden Recipes, P.O. Box 461, Williamston, Michigan 48895, and I will send you this recipe. If you want to get added to the mailing list for recipes, let me know. Otherwise, as always, you can visit us online at michiganfarmandgarden.com, and you can go to the recipe click and then to printable recipes. So, and I do know there have been a couple of you folks that have sent me emails. I did have a little website issue. It is getting fixed. So hopefully it will be up and going. If not today, it should in the next couple, 3 days. But unfortunately, I am not a techie, so when I have a computer lockup and a computer problem, it always takes me a little while to get things fixed and to get things straightened out. Also, folks, I want to make sure to remind you that we do have some events coming up this fall. Michigan Great Lakes International Draft Horse event. You saw that on the screen. We will be out there again taping at that. So certainly make sure you get that on your calendar and you'll be able to get more information. And we will have Aaron Rice coming up on October 6th telling you a little bit more about that show. And also make sure you get ready. We will be hitting after Thanksgiving all of the shows where we talk about Michigan and we talk by Michigan. So I pretty much have a lot of folks on the list, but if you have a favorite product, make sure to send me an email, send me a postcard so I can get with them and get those folks on the show. And if you have an awesome recipe, drop that in the mail to me as well. Folks, I hope you have an absolutely wonderful week, and I'll see you back here next weekend. Bye-bye.